Hey, are you familiar with all the Minnesota first-time home buyer programs out there? If you're not and you're buying your first home, you really need to pay attention. This is the first part of a series in which I'm going to describe all of the potential benefits that you might have in store for you when you're buying your first home in Minnesota. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Peter Lindquist. I'm a lender in the Twin Cities with over 30 years of experience. Hey, if you enjoy today's video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. You know, that's absolutely free for you to do, and it means an awful lot to me. And certainly consider subscribing to the channel. And if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. So there's a few things you really need to know as you are exploring lenders. First of all, not all lenders offer first-time buyer programs, but more importantly, they don't offer all of them. You've got to be working with lenders that actually have these programs available to work with you. And then on top of it, not all loan officers are comfortable with these programs. I get referrals on a regular basis from other mortgage lenders because a lot of these end up being kind of complicated. And so you want to work with a lender that actually is proficient in it and wants to work with these programs. And you know, I know it's tempting. You see these ads online for easy 1, 2, 3 mortgage and boom, you're done. But you know, internet lenders by and large do not offer state programs or county programs. So if you are interested in really obtaining all the information you need to know, you really need to be working with a lender that is based in the Twin Cities, because we're the ones that are familiar, we're the ones that have our pulse on the community and are connected to each of these programs. The big internet lenders really don't have connection or availability on these programs. So let's define who a first-time home buyer is. Obviously, if you have never owned a home, that's a first-time home buyer. However, if you haven't owned a home that you have occupied within the last 3 years, then you are considered a first-time home buyer. So if you owned a home and sold it 4 years ago and haven't owned a home since, you are now considered a first-time home buyer. So what does that do for you? Well, one of the biggest things is down payment assistance programs. So there are down payment assistance programs through the state of Minnesota. These are the most popular. It's through the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency. You'll hear it referred to as MHFA. There again, it's a limited group of lenders that work with MHFA. And then there's local programs for down payment assistance. You know, the city of Woodbury, the city of Eden Prairie, different cities and counties, even neighborhoods sometimes will have down payment assistance programs. Those are great to access when they're available. They have much more limited funding. State of Minnesota funds are always available, but local programs, we need to kind of time our way around it to make sure that there's money available. Then there's occasionally national programs that are available as well. All right, then there's also lower down payment options. So even if you're not getting down payment assistance loans, there are lower down payment loans. A lot of lenders will say, hey, we've got FHA. And FHA is great, and it's kind of designed around first-time home buyers because it's only a 3.5% down payment, and it's much more liberal when it comes to credit. We're going to talk about it in our program section. But did you know that conventional loans actually have programs that have lower down payments at 3% down? So if your mortgage lender is trotting out FHA and hasn't talked about 3% down programs, you really need to investigate these. They're from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. One is called Home Ready, the other one's called Home Possible. Those have maximum income limits, but then there's also programs that have no income limits from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac called Home One and the Fannie 97. And another potential benefit as a first-time buyer is potentially lower interest rates. With conventional loans, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they've got Home Possible and Home Ready. Those programs, the ones that have a maximum income limit, have a interest rate benefit to the home buyer as much as 0.25%. And on top of that, they have a benefit when it comes to the mortgage insurance rate. So that's lower as well than just a traditional conventional loan. And then there are credit score benefits. On standard conventional loans, your interest rate is really significantly impacted by your credit score in 20-point increments from 620 to 640, 640, 660, all the way on up to 780. Well, with conventional Fannie Mae Home Ready and Home Possible, they're not, your credit score is not going to impact the interest rate. So there again, if your credit score is less than 780, hey, most of ours are, then there is a reason for us to consider Home Ready or Home Possible, because you're definitely going to get a better rate than on a standard conventional loan. Now let's understand what first-time buyer programs are not. They're not easier qualifying. So it doesn't mean that because you're a first-time home buyer, there's forgiveness for being currently late or having a bankruptcy 3 months ago. So you have to be able to qualify to repay the loan with any of these programs. There's also not payment subsidy programs, none that I'm aware of anyways. So there's no community out there that is like paying you money on a monthly basis to own a home. Again, not that any that I've ever been aware of. And the down payment assistance programs are mostly loans. They're loans that need to be repaid, even if there's 0% interest, and even if they don't require a monthly payment, eventually they need to be repaid. On a rare basis, there are grants, but they will be called grants. So if you're looking for down payment assistance that is actually a grant, you might be a little bit frustrated because they're going to be limited. They are out there, and we'll talk about those as well. In this video series, we're going to talk about the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency and their down payment assistance programs. We've got a whole video, our second video in the series. And then on the third video, we're going to talk about national programs, conventional, FHA, VA, and USDA, all as it relates to first-time home buyers. Then we're going to talk about community down payment assistance programs in the fourth video. In the fifth video, we're going to talk about credit myths and best practices when it comes to credit. Then we're going to talk about tips regarding pre-approval and qualifying for loans so that you've got a good basic idea as to how that works. And then finally, there's the how to buy a house. That is in our seventh and closing video. We'll talk about the whole process from getting a purchase agreement all the way through closing and your first payment. So in this series, we're going to talk about Minnesota first-time homebuyer programs that can benefit a wide range of first-time homebuyers. If you have not bought a home in the past, I encourage you to take 60 to 90 minutes, watch this series of videos, and feel free to reach out to me anytime. Call, text, write comments below, and as you're watching through, be sure to like each and every one of these videos, okay? Thanks for taking the time to be with me. Let's get on to our next video.
We will get you home.